What's going on, Will Freeman, RevolutionaryLifestyleZine.com, talking to you today about why cold calling is still the most effective way to close outbound B2B sales. B2B means business to business. By outbound, I mean outbound sales as opposed to inbound calls coming in. There's two ways to get inbound deals. It's organic content marketing like I do, or paid video advertising. You can still do paid text advertising, but paid video advertising converts a lot better. Problem is, most guys who are trying to level up to start a business or trying to level up their business, you might not have the marketing money to pay to be able to get enough leads for you to do six figures or to take your business from six figures and above. Maybe you don't have the right formula. Maybe you don't have the right marketing team. Maybe you don't have the right, enough money coming in right now. And maybe you do have money coming in, but your priority is more to stack that up in your savings account. Because you maybe had some school debts or whatever. You're trying to save 100 grand. You're trying to save 200 grand. And the organic content marketing, in most cases, is going to take, a year to pay off, sometimes 2 years, depending on how often you're doing it and how good you are. I didn't monetize my website for 3 years in. I wrote articles from 2012 to 2015 before I even released a product. And I wasn't doing coaching. I just wanted to get my structure on my ideas, build a brand. I was in it for life anyways. And I was working a sales job during that time, doing outbound cold calling, making money from that. Outbound cold calling is what initially bought me my freedom. It gave me my seed capital to be able to save that, work on my business on the side, eventually move away from Canada with savings, with a viable business. And I owe a lot of that to cold calling, which I never liked. Most people don't like it, but when it's linked to your highest value, you'll find that it's something that you can be inspired to do. And it's so much easier on your own business, by the way, because the scariest thing in sales is like the targets from your managers, when that's just pressing down on your neck all the time. When you don't have to upload every single lead into a CRM and you don't have a manager breathing down your neck, you can bang out those 100 cold calls from 9 till noon, spend the afternoon doing some, pretty easy lead gen, and still generate a good amount of money with like 6 hours of work a day. You don't have to be going super crazy. Now, of course, the more output you put out, the more the better you're gonna do. So ultimately, this is for guys who either don't have the money for inbound, are doing content marketing, organic content marketing, but are waiting for it to pay off. Okay. Or you're doing both of those, they are paying off, but you want to add outbound methods as well, because it's free, either by yourself or hiring sales guys, expanding your sales team or whatever. And now 2019, cold calling is still the most effective way to close those outbound B2B deals. I'm not saying B2C. Okay, B2C is a different animal. If you're selling real estate, anybody's a potential client. You can be hitting up people in Starbucks. You can be hitting up people wherever you go. And cold calling is still effective for real estate, but it might not be the most effective way. There's guys like Brian Casella, Patrick Bet-David, who will tell you, you're selling the big three: financial services, real estate, insurance. It's door to door. And that might be true because the deals are so high ticket that you really only want to be dealing with upper middle class to wealthy people. And if you can get yourself into walk into a condo building with wealthy condo building and knock on doors and not get thrown out, and walk into nice neighborhoods where you've got 300 400 doors of wealthy people, you've got a lot of potential clients that you're not going to be able to find just using the phone book. Because let's be honest, if you're cold calling B2C and you're cold calling the phone book, yes, phone books still exist. You're getting people that are home during the day, which a lot of the time, they might not have the money for the high ticket real estate transactions. Obviously, you'd prefer to have an inbound method if you could only choose the two. But if you don't have the money, cold calling might not be the most effective way for B2C. It might be door to door. It might be, the footpaths in wealthy areas, although that's significantly more painful. But for B2B, the reason cold calling is more effective than, say, showing up in, let's say you're trying to pitch doctors something. How many meetings can you do per day? Knocking on doors, knocking on doctors' offices, waiting for the doctor. He's in a meeting. He's with a client. He's going to be busy most of the day. So you might be sitting there for an hour and a half before you can get in to see the guy. You might only have time for 6 or 10. Whereas cold calling, you can bang out 100, 200, 300 calls a day, get 30, 15, 20, 30 pitches off, either closing on the phone or booking an in-person close. So you can triple, quadruple the amount of people that you can reach and the speed at which you can do it. And that's, if you're not even doing like crazy numbers. By crazy, I mean like 300 and above. But like just 100 cold calls is going to triple the effectiveness of like running around to a bunch of these clinics. Just because of speed. It's also significantly less painful because you're driving, you're waiting in traffic, you're sitting in offices, the secretary's there, either feeling sorry for you, maybe being frustrated by you. You're trying to grab the doctor. It's more time intensive, and the cold calling is just more effective and efficient. I've got a client that I'm working with, and I prefer to work with guys who already have businesses because I know that I can. The more a guy has going for him, the more I can deliver value. We can make quick tweaks on his sales strategy that get him money right away if he has a business. Or the better looking he is, the more I can help him in the female department or whatever. That's not to say that I don't want to help everybody, but my coaching is a high ticket service, and the more somebody has going for them, the more I can help them. That's just the rule. The lower down a guy is doing in life, the harder it is to pull him up even to just average. And he's not going to have the money to pay for a service. So for those guys, I hope free videos and all the free stuff I do hit them. But my favorite guys to work with are entrepreneurs. Some of my clients are multimillionaires because I can do a lot with those guys. The next favorite is, in the future, I might only work with entrepreneurs. Right now, I'm still working with some guys who are building businesses, but they're sales guys. So they've been in sales. So I know that they're not going to tap out, hopefully. I know that they're not going to tap out on the outbound, which is why most guys never get off the ground, okay? Because they don't want to go start a Subway franchise, and take out a bunch of debt, which is smart. The product businesses are difficult, and so maybe they believe me when I say do the service business, but they don't have money for inbound, and they don't want to do the outbound, and they try and do the outbound, and it's like being thrown into the deep end, and they tap. So the vast majority of it's just psychological. Like even if you're not a great salesman, you just call enough people, you're going to be able to sell stuff. You're going to be able to sell any service. You can make 6 figures doing salsa dancing, if that's your passion. So my client, who's already a good sales guy, we've got him selling a B2B high ticket service for entrepreneurs. It's $2,000. It's delivered over, I think, 3 months. And 150 calls, he closed 2 deals. He just closed $4,000 worth of business in his first 3 days selling this deal. So, we went through a couple iterations of what he was looking to sell. We had him selling personal training on the footpath. That was painful. The training wasn't really his passion at this point. He didn't see a lifetime being able to do that. but we took his knowledge of being in sales and converted that into an offer, because that's by far his most marketable skill. It's still my most marketable skill to give that to entrepreneurs. Despite all the other stuff that I have on the channel, being able to help other guys, other entrepreneurs make money is the most marketable skill I still have, and that comes from the sales training and the knowledge, also all the stuff I've learned about marketing and business and stuff like that. So we converted that into an offer. It's something that he's got a passion for, something he can build a channel and an organic brand around, and most importantly, we got him some quick wins. Okay, when guys are working with me, if they don't already have a real estate license, I don't want to get them on board and they don't have a business, and it's like, okay, 6 months to get your real estate license, and once you do, you're gonna have to work on an apprenticeship, and then it's gonna be like a year to close a deal or whatever. Like, I would prefer, if a guy's gonna go the real estate route, I would prefer he came on board with coaching after he'd already done all that, and we can amplify that. So we want to get like quick wins in there. That's really helpful when you're deciding what kind of service you're going to offer. It's much more psychologically comfortable to be offering something where you're able to get quick wins. I had another client whose parents ran a cleaning company, and we had him doing door to door, hitting up people in wealthy footpaths, like after work and stuff. And by the end, he was going one for 15. They weren't huge deals. They were $100 or like $120 or something. He got to keep 80 himself. They'd be bi-weekly. The average LTV of a client was 6 years. So it was like an extra 200 every time he closed somebody a month. And that, like, if you just stay out there long enough, you're going to catch a win, which is very psychologically advantageous for sales, especially if you don't have a lot of experience. But whenever you're testing out a new offer, a new service, the biggest thing that's going to be stopping you is the uncertainty. So when you have the right offer and you're able to get some quick wins, it's an exciting thing. But back to the point of the video, when I started in sales over a decade ago, people were saying cold calling was going to die. It's cold calling is going to be around in 2029, because there's still going to be people with business phones. There's still going to be Dun & Bradstreet. There's still going to be LinkedIn Premium. Yes, you can cold email and cold message those people on LinkedIn if that's your deal, but it's just less efficient. Like those 300 LinkedIn messages you send are going to be less efficient than 100 cold calls consistently, in my experience. Not to say that you can't do both, but in my experience, it's more effective getting somebody on the phone, because you can handle all the objections in real time, and you can close over the phone. Like, both of those deals that he closed were over the phone, just Venmo'd the money over. Whereas LinkedIn, you can't close on that platform, and you've got to book a call as opposed to being able to already get somebody on the phone. So, like, in-person closing is more effective for sure, but the amount of time it takes to physically get into places makes it less efficient, because we don't have a transporter machine. Sending emails and LinkedIn pitches is faster than dialing the phone, but the conversion rate is super low. Like, for a high ticket service, it might be 1 out of 1,000 or more. And you can hire people from the Philippines to bang out a bunch of messages for you, but you're probably going to end up banned on LinkedIn. And so cold calling is a middle between the two. It's slower to get pitches off than cold messaging, but it's faster to get the pitches off than in person, but more effective than the messaging and LinkedIn pitches. Slightly less effective than in-person closing, but you far make up for that by being able to do like 4x, 5x what you could driving around the city to different clinics that are at like or different businesses that you're trying to sell. In a lot of cases, I'm not saying in all cases, but I'm saying a lot of cases for B2B. For B2C, cold calling might not be the most effective, and it might be it's a good chance for high ticket offers. It's door to door or hitting people up. If you have the balls in the footpaths, like if you're trying to build a personal training business and you find a private gym that allows you to bring in your own clients, the ideal place to be able to pull those clients is off the street next to the gym or in the areas where people are, like it's in a wealthy area, they're having lunch, or they're coming out of work, and you're hitting up a ton of people just to see who's interested. And ultimately, it's marketing. It's free marketing for you if you're willing to approach people. So even 2029, when AI is taking a lot of that online money, there's still going to be fucking humans who have doors and who have business phones and who answer their business phone. And you're still going to be able to get their phone number from LinkedIn or their WhatsApp or whatever platform they're using. People are still going to pick up their phone at their place of business. Okay. It's just a reality. And there's still going to be some way to call and contact them, because what business wouldn't have a phone number or some way to reach them, audio or video call, even 10 years from now, even with AI, it's still going to exist. Like AI is going to change the inbound marketing landscape for sure, I think. And there's going to be a lot of changes online, but people have been selling each other in person since the dawn of time. That's still going to exist, and calling is still going to exist. And for B2B, I still think calling is the most effective, most efficient way for outbound. It's been proven time and time again. My friends back in Toronto are still cold calling, still doing, some of them still working the same job in the same seat, still dialing up leads. I had to do 40,000 a month to keep my job selling advertising. My client who I just told you about was the same, and he was selling a significantly worse product. Okay. And, didn't inherit a book, didn't inherit a database, created all the leads myself, called them all myself. I mean, you're talking about 10, 20, 30, 40 grand a month just from dialing the phone. I mean, you don't have to do inbound to be able to hit those kind of numbers. I mean, I did those kind of numbers for a mid-tier product. My client did those for a significantly worse product, 40 grand a month, just to keep the job. Okay. That's what's available by hitting that phone. If you watch Grant Cardone, that guy's making like crazy money. Like I was watching him back when I was still in sales, and he had a small YouTube channel. Like he had less subscribers than I do now. That was only like 6 or 7 years ago. He's still got his guys pounding the phone every day, despite all that massive, 6-7 million views online, spending $1 million on advertising. He's built an incredible inbound lead generation. Still got his guys pounding the phone, hitting up car dealerships, hitting up, small businesses and stuff like that, doing the outbound, because it still works. It's still going to work 10 years from now. Still the most effective way to close B2B deals. And if you're trying to decide, what type of business to start, that's something you want to think about. The different types of closes between B2C and B2B, who you prefer to talk to more. Like B2C, there's a lot more potential customers and clients, but B2B, you get people's professional behavior, and you're dealing with entrepreneurs, and it's easier to generate hyper-targeted, like sniper-style leads, because all you have to do is just go to the phone book for the business section. Most businesses are still listed in there. Go to Google, go through the first 20 pages of Google or however far you want to go, and maybe get the Dun & Bradstreet or the LinkedIn Premium to find all the contacts, all the business owners, so that you're able to call the business with the name of the owner, which is important. So if you are doing B2B, you're looking to get that money up, man. Maybe you're doing your inbound, maybe you're not doing inbound. Cold calling is still the most effective way. I'm not cold calling anymore. I built this machine so I didn't have to cold call. I'm leaving money on the table doing that. I know that. I'm good with that. But that was a price for the kind of lifestyle that I wanted, because ultimately it was about my happiness. And like, I only have so many hours in the day to do coaching anyways, and I've got a nice little machine. I've got my system running perfectly. I don't have to get on the phone. Sales page closes people. I like how that's going. And my main passion is doing this, the content creation, being able to research, being able to, look at philosophy, look at lifestyles, trying to maximize happiness for everybody and for myself. And that's why I don't do it. But don't think that I didn't do it. Still closing inbound deals in my other business, high ticket inbound deals. And yeah, man. So, if you're struggling, or you want to get your income up, B2B, man, get on that phone, dude. Bang at those 100 calls from 9 till noon. Check out my book, How to Sell, revolutionarylifestyledesign.com/products. It's got the basics for closing, prospecting, how to structure your day, how to get through the day psychologically. There's going to be money in that for the next 10 years. People are still going to have fucking phones. They're still going to have social media apps to call them on or whatever it is. People are, every business is still going to be able to receive a call 10 years from now. Okay. And people are still going to have doors, like outbound sales is not going anywhere. The major disruption is going to be to content marketing and online marketing, like the way deals are closed online is going to be disrupted, but outbound's still going to be there, man. So yeah, dude, if you're serious, if you're really ready to kick it up to the next gear, check out my sales book. Also, if you want help with this, revolutionarylifestyledesign.com/coaching. If you think I'm a good fit for you, I'd be happy to help. Much love to you. Hope you found this video useful.